So let's get right into it. I think I'm actually going to work a little bit backwards because Jesse is a complete douchebag, which I always knew. I can't stand the guy. West is clearly one of those guys who really struggles to speak up for himself. Jesse says to West, who he also calls his best friend in the episode, and he says this in front of KJ and Ben, the two new guys. KJ is good friends with West. I'm sure has way more loyalty to West than he will ever have to Jesse. He says in front of these three guys, can I make out with Sierra? Or what would you do if I made out with Sierra? We didn't see much of a response then. But then when you see them towards the end, they're in a tube together in the water. And Jesse is such a slimy, disgusting sleazeball because he straight up pretends like he did West a favor in asking him if he can make out with Sierra. The thing is, it is totally up to Sierra, whoever the hell she wants to make out with, especially, yes, West broke up with her. Sierra owes no loyalty to West. If Sierra felt like making out with Jesse, of course, she could do whatever the hell she wants. I don't think Sierra is attracted to Jesse. I think she likes his attention because she is still a bit in love with West, and she knows that it makes West bothered, and that's why she invites that. It was also really disgusting seeing him spooning her in bed while Mia, Sierra's friend, is also there, and she's just kind of like, I wonder what she was thinking. But Jesse is just so pretending I'm like your friend and let me just be one of the bed bugs, but then, I'm going to get a hard on with you. That's not being Paige or Amanda. They don't do this. I don't like how he just invites himself as a friend when it's like, no, you are not being just a friend. You want to grind up on Sierra and we can all see it. So anyways, when he's in the tube with West, he's pretending he's doing a favor by asking West if he can get with Sierra if it were to take place. And West goes, most people in my position would call you a dickhead or a weirdo. And I wish West could just own his own feelings and be more direct, but I still think it's a big thing for West to just not brush it off and pretend he doesn't care at all, because he does come across as a very non-confrontational person. Jesse just goes, in the end, well, it won't stop me. It's weirder that she's your ex, but that won't stop me. Okay, so you're going to poke the bear? Well, that is so ignorant. Jesse is stupid because he's not looking at the situation. One, physically, West is 5 million times hotter than Jesse. Sorry, dude. You're not on the same level as West. So Jesse thinking he is ridiculous. You're not going to get Sierra, okay? You had Lexi and you screwed that up. And I don't know why he's pretending now that he wants a serious relationship, because I do not believe that is at all in his character. I think he is just into the hottest girl he can find. And that is the one and only characteristic that he really uses to judge whether he wants to get with a girl. So I can't wait to see what happens next week. And the other amazing thing is that, so Kyle and Amanda did not take over this week. The most interesting drama is actually seeing West and Jesse and Sierra, and Jesse being such a D-bag. What I was going to say about the power dynamics is I think Ben has no loyalty, but that Ben came up to West and was saying that's so messed up that Jesse did that. So that's showing Ben is understandably on West's side. Also, KJ bringing up multiple times that, yeah, that was so weird. Why would KJ support Jesse over the person he's already good friends with? Jesse did not really think that through, and I can't wait to see it blow up in his face. And the preview we're seeing next week, it looks like when Sierra finds out about it, she's really pissed, as she should be. I don't know why she's shocked. If she's shocked that he is skeevy, I don't know why she is, because that is so apparent. But I totally hope she just gives it to him, and I hope Sierra reams Jesse out. Bailey is amazing. I love Bailey. So I don't really know where Levi was, if she was around during a lot of this episode, because I didn't really notice anything about her. But Bailey is really giving the more established girl some competition. I'm a weird girl. I love when she was at that singles mixer and she was telling the other women, yeah, I've been single for 2 years. I'm not used to that. But the guy that I was dating, he was telling me I'm fat, I'm ugly, no one likes me. Sadly, I have also dated people like this. I can relate to it. It's interesting because, yeah, if I just looked at Bailey, I think she's gorgeous. And she seems very confident in her bubbliness and outgoingness and her sense of humor. It is fascinating how many women have dated men who are emotionally abusive and completely mess with our minds. So I love that Bailey is admitting that. And she even says, I'm not saying this to get sympathy. And it did not come across that way at all. She also said about herself, I'm well aware that I'm fully fucked up. I have a million issues. So she's working on them. One of the funniest things is Amanda is so sarcastic and so funny. This is Amanda's comedy season for sure. So at the singles mixer, West sits down next to her and he says, how are you? I'm just wondering how you're doing as a married person here. And she goes, I just feel better than everyone. And then Wes goes, why? Because I'm in the perfect relationship with the love of my life and we have no issues whatsoever. That is so funny. I do appreciate Amanda's honesty coming out through her humor. At the singles mixer, there is Dara, West's ex. Amanda, Sierra's very good friend, is asking about who is this woman that West brought. He says, yeah, so they had a fling together. It's so far from being over. He would never risk messing anything up with Sierra because they're in a better place. But for me, if I was in Sierra's position, I dated a guy, fell head over heels in love with him. He brought me home to his family and then he broke up with me quickly thereafter and did an article saying, it's totally over. And then if he's trying to get back in good graces with me, and it's on shaky ground where I'm just starting to feel more comfortable around this person, trusting this person after he broke my heart. If a guy like that, I was at a singles mixer, any kind of event, and he chose to invite someone that was his ex, that would make me, it's not, I wouldn't do anything about it, but in my head, I would be thinking, this is uncomfortable. And why would he make that choice? Because, for example, I don't think West would like it if Sierra invited one of her exes to that event. I think he would also feel very uncomfortable and be wondering, okay, so what does she have with this guy now? Why did she do that? So I don't know why West is so either naive that he doesn't understand that's probably not going to be something Sierra likes, or if he is secretly doing it to kind of just make Sierra on edge. I don't know what his game plan is there. And again, it is a reality show. Maybe they just convinced him to do that. Another thing I noticed, so Kyle goes to a family reunion and Amanda doesn't go. He comes back. Lindsay hugs Kyle and Amanda hugs Kyle, but she doesn't kiss him. And it's also just funny the way she was like, Kyle, where's my husband? When he got there, but there's just so little. What I also like, she said she's just going to try to focus on the positive, and she said, I'll do whatever it takes. Well, not whatever it takes. And that is so nice to hear coming from Amanda, because we know that she has been doing whatever it takes to get Kyle to love her, support her, and it hasn't worked because Kyle is very self-centered, and his substance abuse issue with alcohol seems to take precedence, as addiction often does, over everything else in his life, sadly, to the point that they're now broken up. KJ, still love him, but it was fun because he is so hot. He's a model slash skateboarder. Also, that hyphenate, imagine you were not only a model, but you were also a skateboarder. Those two professions, it's already hard enough to get one of those. Never mind, you had both. Anyways, so KJ is a very attractive guy. He's very low key. It showed him at the club where he had a couple women on him. Yeah, if he is a player, the way he does it, it's not coming across yet because he seems very genuine. So he is the kind of guy that I could see women just naturally flocking to because how he looks, but his energy also is not this desperate hound dog like Jesse's, slobbering all over every woman he sees. Jesse talking about how he writes songs a week after he meets a new girl and sends the file to her. And he's written one for, I'm not going to say Sierra, but okay. Anyways, KJ at the bar has a bunch of women around him, but he's also saying it's hard for him to accept that because if his mom saw that photo or saw what was happening, for example, she'd be like, KJ, why are you doing that? You can tell that Amanda is very genuinely sick the night that Kyle does his DJ thing in the Hamptons. They get home at 4 a.m. All the guys, thankfully, Kyle didn't scream and shout that night. Oh, wow, your wife is super sick. And at least you didn't go completely crazy that night. That's awesome. But we do see that Amanda didn't make it out to his thing. She had good reason to, but we still see Amanda is just pulling further and further away from Kyle. This is the exact quote about Ben, what Ben said to West. He said, that was the weirdest shit ever. He asked you that. So Jesse, just with that smarmy smile, I think he is so naive in terms of bro code works in a whole lot of ways, and he's not doing any favors with himself. We see Kyle and Amanda, as per usual, not doing well. Oh my gosh, sorry, I do have to include this. This was one of the funniest things. It's not a statement. It's when Kyle was talking about, it was the day of his show or his DJ performance in the Hamptons, and he's sitting outside with everyone, and they're saying, when does your set start? How long does it go for? He says he's going to try to get on a bit earlier and go a bit longer. They pan to Amanda's face. She is rolling her eyes so hard, and it is so funny, but it just says it all. She just can barely contain overtly just telling Kyle he's a complete loser every single time she has to hear about this. I want to find out how Sierra reacts to this, to be thrown into the middle of something that she's not choosing to. And I do actually think it's going to backfire on Jesse, and I think he's going to push West further to Sierra. So Jesse, wrong move, but we'll have to see how this plays out. Can't wait to talk to you next week. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for listening to the Reality TV is Self-Help podcast, Summer House Recap, episode 4.